So I ghosted my boyfriend on New Year's Eve, and I have not spoken to him since. Before I get into this, I just want to say that me and my boyfriend, we have been together for a year. Well, almost a year, 11 months. A year on February 2nd, we will have been together. Okay? My boyfriend is also 34, grown man. He also is a homeowner, has a pretty good job, and also has a business that he's starting. So let's start there, right? So recently, I obviously, like you all have known, I have become unemployed, and I have not been able to find a job. I have put in like 30 applications a day. I've got nothing, like barely even an interview. I've gone on 2 interviews, so I've been literally struggling, and I no longer have the funds to afford these bills. Okay. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna keep it together for this. I'm not gonna get stressed out. I no longer have the funds to afford these bills. It's something so crazy about having hundreds of thousands of dollars one day and then the next day having nothing. But that's what's going on right now. And
So we have this young lady whose boyfriend refused for her to stay with him when she lost her job. But honestly, I think he had some valid points. Some communicated, not some not communicated. But I think he kind of realized she's a bit of a hot mess. And I think for her to bring this business onto social media is the exact reason why he didn't want her to stay with him. And I think as you watch this video, you start to realize where the red flags are, um, in her personality and just her packaging as a woman, and why this man decided, you know what, mm-mm, you can be homeless, you know, good luck. I wish you the best. I'll get you a blanket so you can be warm in your car as you live there and not living with me. So she's financially irresponsible. Where are her savings? Where is her emergency fund? Anything, money from somewhere. How does she not have money? Literally the next day.
so I am vulnerable with my man, and I go, hey, I'm gonna need to like stay with you for a little while I get myself together. Like, I don't have anything on the rent, and so I'm gonna need to move with you while I get myself together. Mind you, I said he has his own house, his own 3 bedroom apartment in a nice neighborhood. He also has a best friend. His best friend lives with him, mind you, and has been living with him for however many years he's like lived there, almost the whole time he's lived there. And so I'm like, if his best friend can live with him, why not his girlfriend, you know? So I'm like, hey, I need a place to stay. Which honestly, in hindsight, I should have even have to ask for that. He knew I was struggling. He should have said, hey, let me take something off of your plate. Like, come stay with me so that you can breathe and get this. If he really cared about me, he would have said that, but he didn't. He sat there and he watched me struggle and then watched me get to the point where I was like, hey, I just need a break. Like, I'm literally so depressed. I'm losing my mind. I can't find anything. Can you please help me? And he said, no. He said no. He said no, you cannot live with me. Mind you, living with him is free. Doesn't cost him anything. He said no. I can't live with him. At first he goes, oh, I like that we have our own places to retreat to when we get into our arguments. And wrong answer. Number one, when we get into arguments, we never leave. Like, we stay in the same room and we continue to talk it out until we work it through, which I think is a really good habit that we have and a really good green flag that we have in our relationship. Yes, do we get into arguments? So does everyone. Yes, do I lose my cool? I'm a woman, but I rein it back in and we figure it out and nobody goes home. So that's a weird thing to say. We've never even done that. Second of all, that sounds like a problem to me, not a solution. When we get into arguments, we should not be leaving, because what happens when we get married? There is no way to go. We both live in the same house. So maybe that's not a good habit to start. Being that we have not started yet, maybe let's not start that now. On our very first date, I told him that I wanted to be engaged within a year. I said, after a year, I want to be engaged. He said that's plenty of enough time for someone to know whether or not they want to get married or not. This is what he said. We have talked about it, I shit you not, probably 10 times throughout this year. And never once did he say, I don't think this is going well enough for that to be a realistic goal anymore. Never once did he say, hey, like, let's pump the brakes. I don't think that we're doing that well for it to get to that. So I'm thinking we're doing well. We're on schedule. After a year or a year and a half, we'll probably get engaged. Then he goes, I don't think I want to live with someone again until I'm married to them. Which is some new boundary that he literally just made up because he's never said that the whole time we've been together. And I go, maybe it's not a good idea that you live with someone after you already got married to them, because what if you guys are not compatible to live together and you don't know that until after you're already married? Then what? That's really dumb, actually. And so I'm like, okay, that's a completely new thing, but granted, it's been a year. We set our goal for a year. Are we going to get married? And he goes, no, that was your goal. Since when was this my goal? It was my goal, but like, I thought we were in agreement because you never said that we weren't in agreement. Clearly, I made all this up in my head, and this was never a goal. I just thought it was a goal because I continuously talked about it, and he never said that it was unrealistic. As a matter of fact, he said the quite opposite, that it was a realistic goal to have, and never once, as we neared to the end of that year, did he ever say, hey, I don't think we're close to being married. So imagine my surprise when he says, I don't think we're close to being married. We still have things to figure out, because a couple of nights ago I got super irritated at him and yelled at him and told him to leave my house. And apparently that's enough of a reason for him to be like, whoa, I don't want to marry her. All right. So yeah. And so I said, hey, I'm actually scared that I'm going to be homeless because these, oh, I said, I'm actually thinking I'm gonna be homeless because I don't have a job and these bills keep coming, and I can't do it no more. I'm tapped out of resources. And I think I'm gonna end up, if you don't let me live with you, I'm gonna end up in my car, living in my car, something like being actually homeless. And he goes, well, plenty of millionaires have lived in their car before. What the fuck? So basically, he said, yeah, no, I'm not gonna help you. I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. I know it's hard, but basically, he told me that you never really do have anybody to depend on, and you come alone in this world, and you are your own person, and you should be your number one priority because nobody else is going to be dependable, which I translated to, he is not someone I can depend on. Why would I ever marry someone that I can't depend on? I'm a dependable person. I've had friends that I've let stay with me, that I've given a place to stay for free, that I've been able to like say, hey, you can lean on me. Like, don't worry about nothing. Take a break. I got you. So if I can be dependable to my friends, you can be dependable to your girlfriend. It's not a crazy concept. Yeah, we do come in this world alone, but relationships are the whole reason of everything. You should be able to depend on the people around you, on your community. They should be people that you can say, hey, you do owe a responsibility to the people you love and the people you care about. And apparently he doesn't think that way, and I don't think I can be in a relationship with someone who doesn't think that way. And so I decided that I kind of ghosted him. I just stopped talking to him, and I probably will never speak to him again. That really turned me off. And yeah, that's why I broke up with my boyfriend, because he said it was okay that I be homeless. I should be homeless while he goes home to his 3-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood and rubs his feet together under his nice comforter set, his nice sheet set, and watches his 70-inch TV on the wall and twiddles his thumbs together while I'm out in my car in the cold. Talking about he's gonna give me a blanket for Christmas so I don't be cold. You gonna get you a new bitch for Christmas? I ain't even.
Ooh, she also feels entitled to her boyfriend's things. He is under no obligation to provide for any of this. He's not her husband. He doesn't have to provide for her. And at this point, she's burdening him. Where are her people? Where are her parents? Where are her cousins? Why does she not go back home? When things don't work out, you call your parents, you call your mom, you call your dad. This is what has happened, and I need to be home for a month or two just to get my feet, get back on my feet. You call your people that either birthed you or that you were birthed with, that are part of your family. Where are these people that she should be calling upon instead of moving in or wanting to move in with a boyfriend? I mean, the friend that she says the boyfriend is staying with is probably has a job and probably is carrying the weight financially for his own expenses that contribute to the household. She's going to walk in there and be a weight on his shoulders. She's going to walk in there and be a burden. I don't think she's comparing like for like. Well, living with him isn't free now, is it? His bills are going to go up, the water's going to go up, the electricity is going to go up, and the food will go up because she will not be contributing anything because she doesn't have a job. Not to mention his peace. His house is his sanctuary, and that will be invaded by someone he clearly isn't ready to make a long term commitment to. He clearly isn't ready to get engaged, and living together to determine compatibility is not really a thing. I don't know what her principles are, but Christians that I am, it's discouraged. In fact, it's something that is not to be done to live with a person before marriage because basically you guys are married. Um, and he's actually highly likely not to marry her if she does move in and live with him because he will get all the benefits of a wife with none of the commitment really. He doesn't have to give up his freedom. He can still carry on as a bachelor while she's acting as a wife in his house. And where's the incentive for him to actually marry her? So that will eventually backfire in itself. And it often does with people who move in with people that are not their husbands or their wives. And then they wonder why 20 years later they have not married them. So if she actually pushes that, he will end up actually not marrying her. Well, she does have a valid point on dependability that we do have families and we do have support systems that we're born into, that we build in the form of friends, that when you do fall on hard times and when you do need help for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks, for a couple of months, that there is someone in your life that can do that for you. And it's great that she's been that for her friends. And maybe their relationship with her boyfriend really needed to come to this place so that they can realize they actually are not compatible. I mean, the year has already been over. I think she should be reading between the lines that this guy is really not going to marry her. And she didn't help by being a woman, which I think is so wrong because then you give the impression that women cannot control their emotions, that we have outbursts, that we then rein in. No, 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 honey, she's on her own on that. Some of us actually have control when things go haywire. Um, so that's her. But I think this relationship honestly was never really going to work, and they have reached the end of that. And you know what? Men will not break up with you. He will not say that he's no longer into you, that it's been a year and it's not working. They'll just float along with you and start to act in ways like now that show you that he's really not that into you, that he's not going to marry you. He had a year, it's almost a year. And when a man knows that he's found his one, a year is too long. He will marry you in a month. He will want to marry you the first day you meet, the first week, a year later, and he hasn't made a decision whether you're his wife or not. Honestly, um, it's not going to work. So yeah, that's how that cookie crumbled.